Welcome to today's video, where we delve into an unbelievable encounter with an entitled family at a Spanish family-run restaurant. Buckle up for a story full of demands, disrespect, and an unexpected twist of justice. Get ready for an unforgettable tale that highlights the shocking contrast between cultural expectations and the steep price of entitlement. Platinum. Many thanks, kind stranger. Silver 2. Good morning, Reddit. Just allow me a few disclaimers before I start. First, have in mind that this story takes place in the north of Spain, Asturias. Therefore, I will try to give the necessary context so the cultural barrier is as little as possible. Second, that this is my first post in this community. Third, I'm Spanish, so please forgive me for any orthographical it's orthographic facepalm, or grammatical mistakes. However, feel free to point them out to me if you want. This got longer than I expected. I'm missing an XXXL tag. Now let's get started. First of all, I will give out some context, so feel free to skip this and go directly to the story. This took place a couple of years ago when I was 17, and I used to spend part of my summers helping in my grandpa's restaurant. The restaurant was located in the bottom floor of our family house, in a little village, 30 inhabitants, and my great-grandparents, the parents of my mom's mom, lived in the upper floor. In the restaurant, my great-grandmother and my grandma were in charge of cooking, and my great-grandparent and granddad were in charge of attending the tables. It was kind of small, as it had like 8 tables of 4 on the inside, and we could set another 2 outside if the weather was good. As the restaurant also served as a bar, it was filled with locals, and as many of them were retired, they used to spend the whole day playing cards and drinking wine. So although it was a small location in summer, usually was full of people. Also, please have in mind that my great-grandparents founded this restaurant in the year 1941. Therefore, it was well known and had a good reputation among the locals. I'm also proud to say that my great-grandparents were very loved in their community, as they really were great people. Although it was a quite remote place, in summer, we used to get like 4 or 5 groups of tourists per week. And the rule was that my brother and I were in charge of serving their tables, as we were the only ones who knew any other language than Spanish. Our opening hours at the time were from 12 to 22:30, but the kitchen was only opened from 13 to 15 and from 19:30 to 21. We only served one menu, composed by a starter, 2 main dishes, dessert and cider or water. So now the story. For convenience, I will use the following abbreviations: M, entitled mother; EF, entitled father; SK, spoiled kid, 7 years old; GGP, great-grandparent, me. It was around 16, therefore most of the customers had finished eating and were chatting over a cup of coffee or some liquor. My grandparents and great-grandparents were still eating as they waited until everyone was finished. Therefore, my brother and I were in charge of serving the tables, just in case anyone wanted something else to drink. Suddenly, we hear a car outside, and I can hear a woman loudly speaking in English. As soon as they enter, this happens. We would like to have a table. X from the Y Hotel told us this was a great place to eat. I'm sorry, ma'am, but the kitchen is already closed as it's kinda late. Yes, it's late because we got lost in this damned roads. Is it so difficult to put proper signals? Also, we have a little kid that is hungry. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me check if I can do something for you. I then went inside and explained the situation to my grandma, who told me to attend them as everything was already prepared and it would be just heating the food. Well, are you going to give us a table or not? If the kitchen is closed, how is it that those people are eating, pointing at my grandpa's? At the moment, I thought she was behaving like that because she was kinda hungry, and I wasn't really used to dealing with rude people, as the majority of tourists used to be really respectful. Well, those are the owners, so they can eat whenever they want. I said this while laughing a bit. Anyway, I have just asked them, and you will be able to eat too, so please follow me to your table. They follow me to the table, and I explain to them that there is only one menu. They give me a strange look, but they seem okay with that. I serve them the bread and I put a bottle of water on the table. They start devouring the bread, so my meng. They were a bit rude because they were hungry theory seemed to be confirmed. As soon as I bring the starter, EF demands to have the Wi-Fi password. Hey, we have seen that there is a Wi-Fi network, which is the password. Yes, there is one. However, the Wi-Fi is for the staff personal use. We had a measured and really slow connection that had like 5 gigabytes of data, which my grandpa used for checking some newspapers and my brother and I used for sending WhatsApps to our friends. That's bullshit. We are paying customers, and we deserve to have access to your Wi-Fi. Yes, our little angel wants to watch some videos. We don't have any kind of internet access here. Sorry, but as I have said, it's for personal use. That's not right. This would be unacceptable in America. Well, I'm sorry to inform you that we are not in America. The EM tells something to the SK, and then he starts running around the restaurant, stomping his feet and shouting. My great-grandparent comes to me and asks me what is happening. I explain the whole situation to him, and he asks me to please translate what he is going to say. Please, lady, control your child, or I will have to ask you 3 to leave. Don't you dare tell me how to raise my child, you dinosaur! Don't get close to my child, you old creep! By this point, everyone is of course looking with disbelief to these morons. I doubt for a sec, but translate all of this to GG, expecting a not really nice reaction. Instead of saying anything, he slowly turns around and asks 2 men who are sitting on a table to take the whole family out of his restaurant. I proceed to explain to the family that if they don't get out, those 2 men who also happened to be 2 Guardia Civiles, like rural police forces, would be taking them out. They don't seem to believe that those 2 men were policemen, and they refused to leave until we served them. Finally, both men stood up, showed their plaques, and asked them, in their best English, to leave. EM, EF, and SK finally stand up and leave. However, as they were leaving, the policemen realized that they had parked in front of our garage, blocking it, in a zone signaled as a no parking zone. So they decided to ask for their rental car papers while taking a couple of photos and giving them a 200-yuan fine for blocking a private property garage. Okay, this ended up being far longer than I expected. On my behalf, I have to say that I have family in the USA and that all Americans I have met in the USA are really nice people, so please don't take this as an American bashing post. I hope you all have a good day. And that concludes our wild encounter with an entitled family in serene Asturias, an unforgettable mix of cultural clashes and old-school values. Remember to hit like, subscribe, and join us in the comments to share your thoughts on today's story. Until next time, stay respectful and travel wise.